Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining in. I know we had back-to-back sessions this week. Was a little crazy, but we'll be back to our normal schedule of Monday and Wednesday. I'm trying to look on the calendar for what next week is, but I'll look and tell you later.
Okay.
So this morning, we have Dawn Viola with us. Dawn is the manager of the Smithtown office. And she is going to share with you the opportunities that you have to expand your sphere of influence. So I am not going to waste any time, Dawn. I'm going to turn it over to you. I'll monitor the chat. If there's any questions, you'll see me raise my hand so I don't interrupt your thought. And you could, call on me whenever you're ready.
Okay, perfect. So good morning, everybody. I know that it's challenging to find time to, kind of grow our business when we're dealing with so many competitive offers and, multiple offer situations and things like that right now. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to jump on and for part of this or all of it. And I'm available anytime you have any questions or need some kind of insight or updating or finer points than what we talked about today. My phone number, I'll put it on in the last slide, and you guys can call me anytime. So I think the biggest thing that you need to realize in our business is that your sphere is your future business. And, our sphere is built up from friends, family, acquaintances, people that we know in business, people we've done business with, people we're going to do business with in the future. And what happens a lot of time is people sit back and they worry so much about how they're going to get business that they don't realize all the opportunities that they're missing in business. And if you take a normal day, there are so many opportunities that are missed because people just don't go the extra. You need to ask the questions. You need to make an extra comment or even just get involved in something, and that will help you to grow your sphere so that your future business will be available to you without having to buy your business. We all know those agents who buy their book of business, and every year they're struggling because they're spending more money rather than doing the right thing and providing the best service and offering things that are worth, people's time and energy and efforts. They're just continuing buying their marketing. So I want to go over some things with you today of how you can give of yourself to grow your business, gain people's really trust, and understand the value that you bring to the community without having to beg for business. Get started here. The first thing that you really need to do to make this work for you is to clearly define your goals. And they're your goals. Only you know what you need and what you want. Only you know how much time and energy you can put into this. So if your goal is to do 5 deals a year, then you have to figure out how much time, effort, and energy you need to put to do those 5 deals a year. Then you have to define your commitment. Now, your commitment may be based on, okay, I want this as a second income. It's going to pay for Christmas for my kids or Hanukkah or whatever holiday, you celebrate. It's going to pay for all our birthday gifts. It's going to pay for our vacations, or it's just going to pay my mortgage. And only you know that answer. You may be in a totally different scenario than people in your office. You may be sitting next to somebody who does this because she wants to get out of the house or he wants to get out of the house. Or you may be the person who wants to just get out of the house. And that's fine. As long as you know your level of commitment and you know your goals, those are the 2 most important things to begin building your business plan. And then the third thing that we need to do is to define your abilities. And that comes with, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? How much money do you have to devote to your business? How much time do you have to devote to your business? And what are you able to do? Are you able to travel 5 miles, 10 miles, 50 miles? Do you need to stay in a 2-mile radius because you have young ones in school and you're the only one who can get them if something happens? Or are you free to go and do whatever you want to do and you're not tied down to anybody? Those are the kind of things that you need to know. The 3 questions here are going to be what is going to build your sphere. So if you tell me that your goals are to do 5 deals a year and you can commit 4 hours a day to your business to do these things, and you can leave from 9 o'clock till 4 o'clock and you don't have any other commitments, then we back into how you can get more business. How many opportunities are there in a day for you to meet people, talk to people, help you with what you do, all without begging for business, because that's what we don't want. We want people to see you for who you are and what you bring to the table. And at that point in time, that's how your sphere will grow. So how do we do that? Okay. Where did you begin your career in real estate? I can almost guarantee none of us, and I mean none of us, said when we were 3, 4, 5 years old, I want to be a realtor when I grow up. There's no way. But we're all here. So we all started someplace. We all brought different things to the table, but we all ended up here because of our passion for either sales, helping people, construction. So many different things bring people to real estate. So you have to look back and say, what did I do before? What were my strengths? What were my attributes? What can I bring to my business from before that's going to help me get to where I want to go? So if you look at these pictures, you're going to see some people that you recognize here. These are realtors in our company. Almost all of us came from other fields. If you look on the bottom left, that's Rob Caggiano. He is with the Ronkonkoma office, and Rob was an EMT or paramedic. I'm not sure which Rob, I'm sorry, with FDNY, and that's here before real estate. If you look in the middle, you'll see Melissa McCoy in the orange sweatpants. Melissa came to us. She was NYPD. She was special ops. Melissa did more things in her career with NYPD than I think we'll ever know about. Ask her about some pirates sometime and she'll fill you in. Melissa also owns a gym and she also owns a nutrition bar. So she does all of these things while she's successful in real estate. Bottom right, that's Denise Morrissey. She was NYPD also. And she brings those skills to the table every time she negotiates a deal. She's organized. She thinks things through. She's very detail oriented. Rob's caring, personality. He always wants to assist. He's there to help his people. If you've seen Rob on Facebook, you know that he feeds the veterans. He makes meals, I think it's weekly. And he puts all these meals together for the veterans. He also donates some of his commission every single time he has a sale to the veterans. So these are just a few of our agents that we have here. If you look at the top left, you have stockbrokers. I know Joe Bartone was on Wall Street before he went into real estate. So a lot of our agents came from different fields. And they bring with them the skills and the compassion that they had for whatever industry they were in to our business. Rose Sadati, who's our manager in Setauket, was in the hotel industry for many years. And if you talk to Rose, you immediately understand why. She always wants everybody to have what they need. She always wants people to feel like they have listened to and they're taken care of. And she has that personality that's just so compassionate and caring, and she brings it forth. So don't ever say, oh, I did this for years and now I wanted something new. That's a part of you, and you're going to bring that to wherever you go to next. So how do we do that? And how do we get our sphere to grow based on where we were? Okay. So the question is, why are we in real estate now? What made us come here? Was it just time for a change? Was it that your company folded? Was it COVID? Was it you grew to the top of where you were at and that there was nothing further for you to grow towards? Or was it that you just love houses? My personal story, I worked in a hospital for 10 years. I was a unit manager on an oncology unit, and people started coming in who were my own age and passing away.
Have you seen an uptick in people trying?
Somebody is going to mute. Go ahead,
That's
keep
okay.
going, Dawn. Sorry.
That's okay. So people were my own age were coming in and they were passing away, unfortunately, due to cancer. And I was in my 20s, and I had a young child at home, and I knew that he was going to be starting school. We needed a bigger house, so I started looking at houses, and I fell in love with looking at houses. I was the worst customer. I looked at 80 houses. Now, this was back in the 90s, the very early 90s. I looked at 80 houses. I had a notebook. I wrote down everything in that notebook when I was looking at houses, if it was raining, if it was sunny, if the basement was dry, if it was wet, you name it, it was in that notebook. I was the worst, like when you get that customer and they come with all their stuff and you're like, oh no, it's one of them. I was one of them. So the revenge was the person who showed me all of those houses said, why don't you just get your license? And I did. And I fell in love with real estate. I loved taking the idea of somebody who wanted something or wanted something to happen, and I became their path or their guide to helping them get to where they wanted to go. So we all leave our career paths for one reason or another. We don't, wake up one morning and say, I want to be a realtor when we're, 6, 7, 8 years old, like many kids dream of being a policeman or a fireman or an Indian chief or whatever. I don't think many people say, I want to be a realtor, unless your parent is a realtor or something and you've grown up in the industry. So now that we know where we've come from, and I want you to start thinking about the attributes that you bring to your business, the things that you do outside that you can bring into your business. Okay, so here we are. I'm in real estate. I'm in this world of, competitiveness. What do I do? So in 2000, we got business the old-fashioned way. We went through a phone book. For those of you who weren't, born yet or old enough to know what a phone book is, that left-hand side is an old-fashioned phone book. And we used to take that phone book and we used to make calls, and we used to take the calls directory based on street or area, and we would make calls, or we would find a public record list and then we would revert back to the phone book, look them up in alphabetical order and try and find them. And we would make calls, and we would spend days and days and days calling, asking if they wanted to find out the market value of their home, did they have any interest in selling, would they like an investment property, or we door knocked. And those were really the ways that you got business in, the early 2000s. And then pre-COVID, we had the calls directory. We were allowed to, make calls. We were allowed to door knock, as we did in 2000. And we did a lot of mailings, free market analysis. That's what we hung up our hat on. I'm just going to close my door because it's a little loud in the lobby. Sorry. Okay, so that's what we did. We did mailers. But now with COVID, what do? COVID has a whole different ball game on how we're going to get business. But in reality, it has opened up so many more avenues for you to grow your sphere. It has given us so many more opportunities to grow our sphere. And you say, well, how is that? We're stuck home. We can't cold call, we can't door knock, and you barely get to meet a seller and have a relationship with a seller and their house is sold. Well, that's true, but you need to build it other ways. So how can we do that? We can do that by becoming part of our community. I want everybody to think about like where they spend the most amount of their time when they're not at their desk and they're not selling and they're not in their car showing homes. There are so many opportunities out there. Here's just a few: tutoring centers, schools, they need help. Right now, kids have fallen so far behind because they had a year and a half of online learning. And a lot of kids struggle and they need the structure of a classroom. And their reading levels have slipped back, their math skills have slipped. They're really in a bad spot. And a lot of these kids lost a year or a year and a half of their education. And what can we do to help them? A lot of the schools and the school programs or the libraries are looking for volunteers to come in and read to children. They're looking for volunteers to help kids with homework. They're looking for volunteers to come into even some classes and read to the kids at school. So there are opportunities in the schools. There are opportunities right now going to the park and cleaning up parks, because a lot of people, they're not working or they're not doing their normal things. They're out, but they're social distancing. So we found that unfortunately there's a lot more trash. There's a lot more litter at our beaches and the local parks. So get together with 5 or 6 people, go and do a cleanup. The people that you talk to will bring other people. Those are people who you don't know. So if you bring 3 people that you know and you set up this event and you ask them each to bring a friend or 2, they're going to obviously say, oh yeah, I'm coming because, my friend Deb Asher is a great realtor and, she wants to give back and she's doing this because she wants to help the community. Oh, Deb, you're in real estate. What's my house worth? What's going on in the market? Is it true that values are up, 40% or 50%? These are soft conversations. These are ways to just get to know people. You hand out your card if you need anything, but you're not doing the cleanup to get business. You're doing the cleanup to give back to your community. You're doing the cleanup because it's something that genuinely needs to be done. And instead of you saying me, or I did this, or I did that, or I'm better because I did this, you're doing something that's genuine. You're spending your time helping, and in ways that are really needed. You're helping the kids with their homework. Okay, so instead of just doing it over Zoom, see if you can do it obviously with your PPE and is there a center that they have these kids in? Is there some way that you can help them on a regular basis? Get to know people, get to know the community. The other thing that we were talking about at the beginning of the call, volunteer at your local shelter or a rescue. Many people know, if we're friends on Facebook, I do a ton of rescue. I work with a rescue that is up in Westchester, and I dogs for them. I have gone and I've quote unquote repossessed dogs who were being abused, gone into the home, taken the dog, brought them to a safe haven. I volunteer at Save a Pet and I clean cages. We do walks. I've fostered. All of those things seem like, okay, she's a crazy cat person or she's a crazy dog person. And I do those things because I love them. But after doing these things for the last 20 years, I get business from doing those things. Because people say, you know what, she's helped us so much. Let's call her. Did you talk to her about the rental? Did you talk to her about, buying, you want to buy a house, you're ready? And it's not that I'm doing these things to get business. I'm doing these things because they're important to me. They're part of my life. They're part of my world. And the advantage of doing what you love is you're yourself when you're there. So be yourself, volunteer, help where something is that interests you. The animals, I love the animals. That's, you know, that's it. I have a zoo at home. And so what am I doing outside? I volunteer.
Oh, sorry. I got it. Go ahead, Dawn, sorry.
Okay. So that's the back of my business card. And for those of you who recognize the ad, that was a campaign that Coldwell Banker ran probably 2 or 3 years ago. And it's a commercial that's been on TV, and that's on the back of my cards. I hand out my cards. I don't say anything to anybody. They turn the card over and they're like, oh, do you like animals? Do you do rescue? It opens up a conversation and you find common ground with people and you find it immediately. And that's how you're going to grow your sphere. So what do you do every day? The best thing that you can do for yourself and for your business is to take a chart like this and literally time block. The first thing you're going to put in there is what you do in the morning, whether you put your kids on the bus, whether you watch your grandchildren, whether you go to the gym, whether you every morning you go to the same bagel place and you get your bagel and your coffee, whatever it is. Time block your day. And once you fill out your time blocks, you will see how many missed opportunities you have to grow your sphere. So if we take a look, this is a typical day for so many working moms, working dads. Put the kids on the bus in the morning, maybe run to the gym, hit a PTA meeting or two, volunteer someplace, soccer practice, dance practice, hockey practice, food shopping, an open house or two. All of these things that are in here, even though they are not real estate related, except for the 2 open houses, every single one of them is an opportunity to grow your sphere. And you're like, Dawn, my neighbors know what I do. Why is going to the bus stop going to help me grow my sphere? I can tell you that in my 25 years in this industry, I have sold more than 30 houses in my neighborhood. And I don't have a big neighborhood. There's maybe 8 streets in my neighborhood. But I have sold more than 30 houses in my neighborhood. I don't have a big sign that says, pointing to me, hey, come here, I want to sell your house. I talk to people. I let them know what I do. And then my neighbors talk to other neighbors and so on and so forth. And it's not me saying, hey, I'll give you a good deal if you list with me. No, it's they understand who I am and what I do, and you get the business. So let's look at each of these things quickly and, kind of see what's what. When you're at the bus stop, you are you. Usually you're in your sweats. If you were like me, sometimes I was still in my pajamas, and I was very lucky that the bus stop was on my front lawn. So what did I do? I put a bench for the children, and then I put another bench next to it for the parents or their backpacks, so that the kids knew that they could come, they could play on my front lawn, they could sit there, the parents would hang out, we'd have coffee, whatever it was, but it was a welcoming space. And then on Friday afternoons at the bus stop, we would bring cupcakes, or we would bring cookies, or we would bring juice boxes, or we would bring whatever. We made it an event. And if you had a neighbor who couldn't get their kids off the bus and you were fortunate enough to be there to get the kids off the bus, took their kids. It's not a big deal. You're building relationships. And again, you're not doing it for business. You're doing it because you have the ability to do it. So people get to know you. They get to know the real you. If they trust you with their kids, they're going to trust you with their home. So just be you. Allow yourself to be you. Okay, going to the gym. That's something that we weren't able to do for a long time, but now people are getting back to the gym. When you're at the gym, talk to people. Tell them what you do. I have some Coldwell Banker shirts here somewhere. If anybody wants one, you wear it to the gym. Let people know what you do. Again, you're not asking for business. You're not begging for business, but it's a conversation starter. Use it to your advantage. One of my most favorite things that I did that brought me business, I didn't do it to get business, it brought me business. I talked to school social workers. When I grew up, we didn't have a lot. And I don't care who knows this because it doesn't define me. I grew up in a home that wasn't the most stable home. I had an abusive father, and we didn't talk about it. So I wish that I had gone to talk to one of these school social workers when I was in school. So I guess my way of kind of overcoming what I dealt with as a child and the lack of sometimes food and you know, the heat or the lights or the electric or whatever in our home, a lot of that could have been changed had we not been so proud. So I make it a mission that I speak to the school social workers in my community, and they know everything that's going on. They are the heartbeat of the community. So you go to the school social workers and you say, you know what, I have this house, it's closing on, you know, such and such a street, and they've moved away. They don't want any of the furniture that's in this house. You know, do you have a family in need? Do you have a family who could use all the canned goods that are in the, you know, that are in the cabinets because they don't want to transport them? Do you have, you know, a family that could use these linens and stuff before they throw them in the trash? And these social workers will welcome you with open arms because they have the families who are feeding their kids from the food pantries at school. They have the families who are waiting for those donations of clothing so that these kids have clean clothes that fit them, you know, to be able to wear to school. So make the phone call, ask the social workers what they need. They're the first ones to tell you, we need this, this, this. We found out, I guess it was about 4 or 5 years ago, I was in Rotary, and I had been speaking to one of the social workers at the local school, and home heating oil was really high, and there was a couple families in the community that just didn't have the money to heat their homes. So what, you know, she told me what they needed, that they needed blankets. They needed extra blankets because it was cold at night. So I went to Rotary and I talked to people at Rotary, and I talked to people in my office, and I talked to people, you know, at the bus stop. And within like 3 days, we had 100 blankets. And it wasn't that they were used blankets. People went to the store, they went to Kohl's, you know, buy one, get one, or here's my Kohl's cash, whatever. And they brought these blankets back. We didn't do it because I wanted more. We did it because it was the right thing to do for people. So it's not something that happens overnight, but those social workers will remember you. And when there's a teacher who's talking about downsizing, who's talking about buying a bigger house, who's talking about having their kids are getting married and they're going to be looking for a home, you're front and center. You're first on mind to those social workers because you do what you do because you care about what you do. So it's really the same thing wherever you go. Be present. Let people know what you do without asking for business. It's okay to ask for business, but when you're doing something like volunteering or standing on the sidelines at soccer practice, or, you know, working out at the gym or at the bus stop, you don't have to ask for business. You need to just be you, and you need to focus on being you and be genuine, and then the business will certainly come. So one of the big things that is around right now is harvest festivals. They're everywhere right now because we're in apple picking season, pumpkin season, and all of these things require people to sponsor things. And when you sponsor something, you're not necessarily have to pay for it. You're giving of yourself. So if you don't have the money to say, I'll give you $500 to sponsor the whole event, or I'll give you $1,000. If you don't have that, there's other things that you can do that won't cost you anything but your time. You can volunteer to help set up. You can volunteer to help clean up. I love the setup part because you go and you talk to people and it's hands-on. You're helping to move tables, you're helping to set tables, you're helping to put up decorations, and you're really working in tandem with other people so they get to know who you are. The best thing that you can do at any event that you're volunteering at is check in. Be the check-in table, be the sign-in table. You get to meet every single person who walks through that door. Have your cards ready, because a lot of them will recognize you from other things that you've done, and they'll ask you a question. And you can say to them, I'm sorry, I can't talk about this right now, but here's my card. Give me a call. Let's talk later about this. Work a station. You know, maybe they have face painting, or they have, find the duck with a number under it, or whatever, like whatever silly thing these kids are doing. Work a station, volunteer to be in one place so that people come to you and you're not walking around trying to find people. They're drawn to you, to your activity. And again, when they ask you, how's the market? What's going on? Hand them your card. Say, can we talk about this later? Right now, I'm focused on this. Okay. If you want to sponsor something at the Harvest Festival, and if you do have the means to do so, you can sponsor the whole entire event. Or I have over here, your name would be here with your picture or your logo or whatever it is that you have. Or it could say supported by. To support something, you don't necessarily have to do the whole event, and you're not trying to claim that you've done the whole event. So you can support the event by showing up. You can support the event by giving back. You can support the event by providing things. One wonderful thing, and anybody who's in my office, this is redundant, and I'm sorry, every single year at Halloween, from the time my kids could talk, so maybe 2 years old, you know, when they're hobbling up to the door to trick or treat, when they opened up the door, when the homeowner opened up the door, my kids handed them a bag. And in that bag was my business card, was my calendar, and was a couple pieces of candy. What did that do for me? I didn't have to mail my calendars to my entire neighborhood because my kids brought it to the door when they were trick-or-treating. That lasted until they were about 12. And they're like, Mom, no, just buy the stamps. We're done. We're not doing this anymore. Every single person in my community had my calendar, and I didn't have to mail it. And they remember my kids giving it to them. So there's a way to grow your sphere without having to spend money on mailers. My kids would hand out, my stuff. It's marketing. How cute are they? I have triplets, so little triplets going to the door. They were taking turns who was handing it to the people, and it worked out really well. Another thing that I did, which was relatively inexpensive, my elementary school every year had a Halloween festival, and they would decorate the hallways. The sixth graders, each class would build a booth, and it was like spooky, lights were out, and you would, whether it was, put your hands in the goo and find like the pieces of whatever, or, a game or whatever, I would buy the bags for the kids to walk around and collect candy with. And what was on those bags? My name, my phone number, and inside each bag was my card. Every single person who walked through that door got my bag. So my name was all over that school. And what did it cost me? 50 cents a bag to have 500 bags in that night. Our high school did it as well. I would sponsor a room, or I would, in the classroom, because we had Trick or Treat Street at our high school. And thousands of kids went through Trick or Treat Street. So I would either supply the bags for that, or I would pay for a classroom. And it's not a lot of money. It's you buy candy, whatever it is that you're going to do. But if you don't have the funds to buy candy, you can grow your sphere. All you have to do is volunteer of your time. So any of these harvest festivals, maybe you want to put together goodie bags. Maybe you want to provide the prizes for an event. Maybe you want to help set up the decorations. Maybe you want to provide some food items. You can also, for nothing, for the cost of nothing, offer some sort of contest, coloring contest, bring it to the schools. All you have to do is get your flyer approved from the school district. I'm offering a coloring contest. I want to I want to drop off the sheets that I've made, have the flyers run off. I want to drop these off and all entries are due by, October 25th. And then you're going to have, somebody pick, the best pictures, that are drawn, and they'll be posted in our front window of our office. And first prize is, a $20 or $25 gift certificate to something that the kids like, Amazon or, an Xbox Live or whatever it is that you want to donate. It's not a lot of money that you're going to be spending, but it's an activity that brings everybody to you. And that's the kind of thing that you want to be present at. You want people to know that you're supportive of the community and you're not just there to sell houses. You want to know that you have them in mind and you want the best for them. Maybe you're going to make a donation every time something sells. Maybe you're going to give a prize to, whether it's the best face paint or the best coloring contest, whatever it is, but people are going to be drawn to you because of what you're offering. And that's what you have to remember. There are so many people that we touch in a day that we don't go that next step and say, do you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell? Or you're new to the community. What made you choose our community? What were the factors that you really liked in our community? And if they tell you, oh, we came here for the apple picking, we came here for, this harvest festival, or, we saw, the parks and whatever it is, you have to kind of take what they're telling you and kind of weave it into your business, but it doesn't always cost money to do that. Okay. One little thing that I want to talk to everybody about, since we are at Halloween, doing this will help you tremendously with people in the community who feel like they're underserved or that they're not paid attention to. At my house, we always have a teal bucket out front with candy in it. And that means it's safe for kids with any kind of special allergy or any kind of special diet. And in that bucket, we usually have treats. We have like toys. We usually have like pencils or stickers or temporary tattoos, things like that. And that signifies that it's safe. The blue bucket, I learned this year when I was doing this. The blue bucket is for, if you see a child with a blue bucket, it generally means that child has autism or some kind of special needs that they, maybe won't say trick or treat, or maybe they won't say thank you. But, this will let you know that they're not being rude. They're not being, they're just, they take a little bit of extra time. So if you're doing something with these things, I don't know who's drawing on the screen, but if you're doing things with, any kind of holiday event, if you're doing things at any kind of harvest festival, school festival, anything else, be mindful of these things. Be mindful of people with sensory issues. Be aware of children or adults with special needs. Be aware of allergies. Listen to the needs of people around you. Be present. And one thing that I always say, and I apologize to my agents and any of the offices that I've managed, is educate and advocate. So educate yourself on things that are going on in your community, or educate yourself on the needs of your community or individuals in your community, and then advocate for them. And it's the same thing with your buyers and sellers. Educate them on what needs to be done, educate them on the process, educate them on their rights, and then advocate for whatever their needs are, whatever they're asking for, and go from there. Because you have so many opportunities in a day to help people but you have double the amount of opportunities to grow your business in that same day by helping those people. If you do a great job and you help people, they're going to remember you. If you do a horrible job and you're out for only you and you're not worried about the effect of your actions on other people, they're going to tell everybody. So it's often better to do things for the right reasons, be you, because there's only one you, so just be you, and things will happen. You know, that's the way that we need to grow our business. That's the way that we need to make sure that we're there for others. Take advantage, and I hate the word advantage because I don't mean like, you know, you're not taking advantage of people. You're utilizing the relationships that you have, and you're opening yourself up to new relationships and experiences so that you can grow your business. Look at your day, look at everything that you do in one day and realize how many times you could have done a little bit more and handed out your card or had a conversation with somebody, and where would it have gone to? So you could be sitting at your desk, looking at your computer saying, where can I get business? What can I do? Or you could be out and walking, taking a walk, go around the neighborhood. It's beautiful this time of year. Talk to your neighbors. It's the perfect opportunity. You're not allowed to door knock right now, but you can go for a walk. You can go and walk in the evening. There's so many people out. Have that conversation. You'll be shocked to know how many people want to pick your brain about real estate and remember what you do. And it's the perfect time to do that, because we are in times where people are like, they're starving for contact. They're starving for conversation. And you have so much knowledge and you have so much to give of yourself and of your knowledge and of your talent. Utilize the time. Take full advantage of what you do, because nobody works harder than we do for no immediate money or gratification, and sometimes no money at all. So, build your sphere, talk to people, build the relationships, ask for business. Another thing, this is kind of a side note, but we all have families, whether we have children, whether we have siblings, whatever stage you are in your life. I have 4 kids. My son is 26 and my triplets are 18, my daughters. And every single time, from the time that they were bringing friends over, I would hand my card to the child when I met them. And I said, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you feel uncomfortable, you need a ride, something happened and your wires got crossed and you're stuck someplace, you can call me. Obviously, we're going to call your parent and let them know what's going on to make sure that you really did miss your ride or whatever. But here, put this in your backpack, put this in your wallet, put this wherever. And I would hand out my card to all these kids. And there have been 2 occasions where I have received phone calls. Mrs. Viola, I know that you said I could call. I need to get out of where I am. I'm not in a good situation. I'm uncomfortable and I can't call my parents, or I don't want to call my parents. Can you come and get me? And one of them was, 1:00 in the morning, and I got up and I went and I got the child. And on the way I did call the parent and I did tell them what was going on. And, those are the kind of relationships that we form because it's who we are. But that family also remembers what you've done for that child. And when your name comes up in conversation, it's another kudos that you're going to get for, oh yeah, I would use them. Definitely. They're real. They're a good person. They're this, it works. So it's not always about building your sphere for business today. It's about building it with people who really know you, who really trust you, and who want to help you. Because you do things for people out of your kindness, and then they want to help you because of who you are. If that makes sense. So, do we have any comments in the chat or questions or
No, there's no comments, but I do want to just piggyback on, first of all, the opportunities, to make people aware were fantastic. And it's so true for those, that have been ensuring to success, the word scotoma, something that we don't see, but yet it's right in front of our face. And that becomes these opportunities that Dawn is talking about. So we want to, there's also the stigma of being that salesperson. We know how we feel about salespeople, being pushy, aggressive, but the concepts of everything that Dawn communicated had nothing to do with real estate, really. It was all alternatives that you probably do every day, and yet you can bring that value to people. The other item I wanted to make mention was the Coldwell Banker American Homes attire. You talked about the opportunity, and you could speak to your managers about if there's anything that you're looking into where there be a cap or, a hat or a sun visor or jackets, you can have it. And I definitely encourage you to have it for Coldwell Banker American Homes. Get the American Homes in there because that's really, the opportunity you want to differentiate from, the many other Coldwell Bankers that are out there. So you're specifying your particular company. But the point I want to make is that anybody who has been in the business for a while and knows Mickey Cunningham, Mickey is a big advocate of her sphere of influence. The way you have helped people with the animals, part of Mickey's sphere is playing golf. That's what she does, her pleasure. She plays golf, but she doesn't go on that golf course without a sun visor or a jacket that signifies the name of the company. And she gets a ton of business also. She has a target area that she walks, and she does, it's a big area, and she has been communicating with that farm area for, I don't even know, 20 years or whatever. So there's a big amount of business she gets, but she really tries to do the face-to-face, 1 or 2 times a year in her farm area, because I think she has like 2,500 in her farm area. But she, again, doesn't go there without any kind of attire, and anything that she sends to them during the course of the year, is, little tchotchkes or, a pop-by that you do. But, also you want it to have your name, something that has your name in it, on it. Even if it's you're just starting and you're doing something and just your card is there. But the idea is that there is so much opportunity, and this is the part of the business where we have to work it. You're the business owner, and you have to work your sphere of influence. So we have a couple of questions or comments. So let me just see what we have. How do you get the Coldwell Banker shirt? So I just mentioned that. Does every office have them, or do we have to order them? The attire that you choose for yourself, that is part of your expense. Whether you just start out with a hat or you want to go into a jacket, those are items that become an expense, actually, that you could write off.
I also have a Cricut at home. So I can't tell you how a Cricut is a vinyl maker, you cut it, and then I have a heat press. That was my Christmas gift last year. I have more stuff that I have personalized with Coldwell Banker American Homes on it that I wear to the rescue. I wear when I do a beach cleanup. I wear when I do transport an animal. It's a sweatshirt. It's comfortable. It's a hat. It's, whatever. And I've put the logo on it. I have, and I wish I had them on my desk right now. I've taken my Yeti cups and I've put the Coldwell Banker logo on the Yeti cup, and it comes with me because it's not an expensive thing to do, but it's a subliminal reminder of what you do every single day. And you bring it with you wherever you go. And it just becomes part of you. So you're not telling everybody, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. This is me. This is what I do. You're simply taking a cup of water, your coffee, you're putting on your sweatshirt, you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, but you've got all these elements around you that tell people what you do.
Excellent. Dan, you want to lower your hand? And I'll lower your hand, but you want to unmute?
Sure. I just to add on that, Dawn and Deborah, this shirt, I went out to the outlets in Deer Park.
Yeah.
And I went to I went to every store that sold these polos, and it's a golf shirt.
Yeah.
And I got 40s for $14 each. And I got this embroidery. I got the embroidery here. I took the logo.
I love it.
$8. So for $22, I got,
A shirt.
I got a shirt. But you know what? If you go to an outlet store or like a Marshall's, you might be able to find a jacket that's pretty cheap, and you take it to there's a lot of places that do embroidery.
Yeah,
and
I bought a really nice black jacket last year at Christmas at Price Club or Costco all these days. And I went and I had them, I did it myself with the machine, and I, heat pressed it on. But to buy that jacket, I think I spent $20 for the jacket, and I wear it in the fall and the spring. It's the perfect weight, and you don't even think about it. I leave it in the car, and then I just throw it on.
And if you like the high end stuff like Patagonia, that stuff, you go to an outlet store.
Yep, absolutely.
They're looking to sell you stuff. And you know what? You're not going to spend, $300 and for retail. You might spend $150 or whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm just throwing numbers out.
But then you have it embroidered, or you have it, the heat press, and it looks great. I wear, my daughter horseback rides, and I wear that jacket to the barn all the time because it's in my car. I throw it on and it gets cold at the barn. I have gotten 3 buyers. Is that what you do? Is that where you are? And I got a listing. Is this what you do? Can you help us? Can you this, that? And you're where you are anyway. You're gonna. So you may as well let people know what you do. Once you let one person know what you do, they're gonna tell everybody else. Especially at when I'm at my daughter's horseback riding lessons, we're all sitting in a viewing room. Everybody sits there for the hour, and you're watching the kids ride, and you have conversation, or you're at a hockey practice, or you're at a soccer game. You're on the sidelines. People are going to gravitate to you, and they're going to ask questions. And you're not being boastful or arrogant or cocky and saying, oh, you have to come to me. You're just there like every one of them, but you're wearing your merch, and it's free advertising. You don't have to buy your business like so many realtors with less morals and ethics do.
Yes, absolutely. Shadi made a comment, said, Dawn, you are a wonderful human being. Wait. Shadi, where's Shadi? Shadi, that was Marina. Dawn, you are a wonderful human being, and you know how to look out of the box. Shadi said, Dawn, I'm in awe of you. I'm sure your kindness has affected the community more than you would ever know. That's awesome.
I love
Jay, you're asking about where the website is. I'm pretty sure that you can look it. Well, first of all, you've got some great ideas here from listening to Dan and Dawn as far as if you're on if you want to keep your budget down. But I believe if you go to desk, I forgot what tile it's in, but I did see a tire in there on desk. Dawn or Jane, do you recall where that might be?
It used to be with preferred partners or partner links, things like that. And then there was companies that you could order through. You can Google Global Banker merchandise, and then it gives you the ability to put in your franchise.
Your logo.
Whatever.
Right, your logo.
And a lot of these
but
places,
I'll definitely
upload your logo.
Yeah, I'll also, I'll also double check that and send it out to the manager so they could share it with you. As far as the website is concerned. Are there any other questions or comments? I know that we were only going to be about an hour today with Dawn's session. I thought it was fabulous. Such great ideas. There are a few other things also that you want to, just keep in mind. Now you have the opportunities with everything that Dawn mentioned about the holidays. You have the opportunity coming up to get into your sphere of influence with the reminder for the clock change the batteries and the smoke alarms and the CO detectors. We have Thanksgiving. I know I'm pushing it a little bit, but Thanksgiving is coming, and I'm a big proponent of sending out Thanksgiving cards to your sphere of influence, rather than if you're going to send holiday cards, because not too many people get Thanksgiving cards. So there are so many opportunities sitting on the horizon within the next couple of weeks to touch your base. But
there's a big thing, Deb, at the schools. I mentioned the social workers, and they know who doesn't have a meal for Thanksgiving. They know who doesn't have a meal for Christmas or Hanukkah or any of the other celebrated holidays. They know who doesn't have a gift under the tree for their kids, or for your whatever holiday is that you celebrate. And you can do a food drive for holiday items and put together baskets. And we have delivered a couple days before Thanksgiving, a frozen turkey, a box of stuffing, cans of cranberry sauce. Literally get together with a group of your friends and ask, and you'll be surprised how much food comes in. We all food shop at the same stores week after week after week. And we know this time of year is when they start collecting the points, and then you get a free ham or you get a free turkey, whatever it is that you want. So many of us have the ability to buy our meals, but there are so many in our community that don't. So take that free ham or turkey or whatever it is and donate it. The churches are collecting them. The schools collect them. I can't tell you how moved I was. It was during COVID, and kids and I were out shopping. And we were just out kind of on a Sunday, just shopping, bouncing from store to store, getting our stuff for the week, whether it was snacks or whatever for school or whatever. And we went to a store that we normally go to, and there was 2 big box trucks at this store. And there had to be 200, 300 people lined up in this parking lot. And the cars that were with them were nice cars. They weren't all beat up and old cars. They were nice cars. And there were people standing in the rain, dressed nicely, waiting for food from these trucks. Because whether it was COVID, they got laid off, or they didn't, they just couldn't make ends meet. And these were people that could have been our counterparts. They were definitely our peers, and they were in line at this place waiting for food. And I think that's when reality hits home, that not everything is what it seems. And we can certainly help and at the same time grow our sphere. And that's, you could either buy your sphere or you could grow your sphere. And I think when you grow your sphere, it has so much more meaning, and the people are so much more loyal, and they're there for you because they remember that you helped, or you did, or you were there for people. And I can tell you, as I mentioned, I didn't have a great childhood. I can tell you the people who helped me 40 years ago, 50 years ago, and they still mean a lot to me. And I still have a special place in my heart for them. And, I try and utilize them in whatever services they have or they offer. And it was just kindness back then, but that they offered to me and my family. So just be you. That's all I can say. Be you, find your interests, and just continue to give. And always asking for something in return because it comes.
Excellent. Anybody else have any questions or comments? All right, Dawn, if you stop sharing your screen, then the big picture of everybody will come up, and I love when you can see everybody's faces. So it's, you know, there's great comments. Everybody is thanking you already, but I'm sure it's always nice to hear their voices. So if you want to unmute, guys, as you're signing off,
Take care.
say goodbye
Thank
and
you,
say thank you to
Dawn.
Dawn.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Very
Dawn.
interesting
Dawn.
and
So much.
informative.
I appreciate all the advice.
Have a great day,
Job,
guys.
Thank
Dawn,
you.
take care. Have a great day.
So much.
Thank you.
Bye, Dawn. Bye, Deb. God bless.
Bye, guys.
See you later.
Thanks, Dawn.